Hey YouTube, Freedom for Kaz here. Today's video is going to be Gulf Oil Crisis and Operation Exodus. Today's video is going to cover a lot of topics today, but a lot of things going on down in the Gulf, like there's a media blackout and they are arresting people who have video cameras, either taking videos with your phones or whatever. Everyone's being arrested pretty much. At least that's what's rumored. I have seen a couple links on that. It's hard to get confirmation on something like that because you really don't know what is speculation and what is not. But I got a firm belief with things that happened with Katrina, where they had martial law with Katrina. I don't see why they wouldn't have martial law down there already, if not very soon. So anyway, let's get into today's video. I got a lot of things to cover. There'll be several links underneath. I encourage everyone to check out the links. I know you're going to have to do your homework on this one a little bit, but people, it's well worth it. But anyway, let's get started. The first thing I want to talk about is the health concerns about this. It's been reported that there are 71 people now in the hospital in relationship to the Gulf oil crisis, whether they got injured during the initial explosion and things like that, and or the cleanup. So the count is now at 71. Now, one of the things that I found in my research is that the two major things that the oil can cause is leukemia and other grave cancers. Leukemia is huge. It kills a lot of people every year, and there's other cancers involved that you can get as it breaks down your immune system. Now, something else that I came across, I don't know how accurate this is, but I did hear that the fumes from the oil can also attack your nervous system and paralyze your nervous system as well, causing you to shake and shudder, and amongst other things. So, it's very critical that, I want to say we get this cleaned up as fast as possible, but as we all know, the government's dragging their feet on this, and it's not getting closer to being finished anywhere soon. The ocean floor is beginning to crack. I'm sure some of you already know that, but if you do your research on that, with the amount of oil that's coming out and how fast it's coming out, it's creating like a cavern, a hollow cavern underneath the Gulf floor, and the pressure down there is like 2,000 psi, and therefore it's causing the Gulf floor to crack, and that's why you're getting these fissures from other areas that are now starting to open and leak oil in other places. Another thing I want to talk about is in one of the links down there, it says that the oil, now they're talking fresh oil. They're not talking about the oil that's been there already. They're talking about brand new oil that's pumping out of the wellhead. It has now gotten 20 miles inland to some of the marsh areas. Now, that is huge, because if it's gotten 20 miles inland, it's just a matter of time before it can get to the fresh water. If I don't know Louisiana all that well, but I'm sure they have some freshwater lakes around there somewhere. Now, a lot of people, I don't know if they have wells or what they drink for fresh water, or even how it's cleaned. I gotta think that sooner or later there's gonna come a point in time when this oil gets into the drinking water and down there. It's getting very, very critical. Now, with another video underneath, there's going to be a diagram and it shows the flow of the oil, how it's going to go around Florida. Now, the reason why I say how it's going to go around Florida is that this video describes the flow of the water and how it flows in the Gulf and how it flows around Florida and into the Atlantic Ocean. Now, the clip that is given shows the flow of oil until the end of August. Okay? That isn't like a 3-month prediction, a 6-month prediction, or a 1-year prediction. That video is specifically set up to the end of August. Okay, so go ahead and when you watch that and you just see how quickly it goes up the eastern seaboard up towards New York City and then out into the Atlantic Ocean, you will be amazed at how fast that oil gets out there. Now, this is critical because once it gets into the Atlantic Ocean, I don't know what can happen. I mean, it's going to be ultra devastating, and it's going to be crazy, stupid, dumb, everything rolled up into one, because if it starts heading over towards Europe, I'm sure there's going to be an international crisis. I almost bet my bottom dollar on it, it's going to become an international crisis. So again, that diagram shows from current day until the end of August. So make sure you check that out as well. Now, one thing that I want to cover on, and this is going to be the majority of this video, and that is going to be called uh, Operation Exodus. Okay, now again, we've been talking about martial law and things like that in Louisiana and the southern states, and how they're getting ready and they're getting prepared, they're getting the FEMA camps ready, they're getting ready to do a mass exit of the area, possibly some evacuations. But here's one thing I want to touch on, and this story here is going to be huge. And this is something that we really need to get around, because this also kind of ties into the fact that this is the conspiracy, and it was also a false flag and also part of the agenda, which is what I've said from the beginning. I've said from the beginning that this oil rig explosion was a plan. It was a planned thing, but I don't think they expected it to go awry. I think it's become worse than they expected. And you know, it's just my opinion, but you know, if you agree with me or disagree with me, comment, let me know. But Larry Dean is the sheriff down there for Louisiana. Okay? And if you read the article, and there's several articles, if you go to Google and type in Operation Exodus, you will get a slew of stories on how the martial law is going to be implemented in Louisiana and the southern states. So back to Larry Dean. Larry Dean, who's the sheriff, says he's been planning this training mission since the attacks of 9/11. Okay, so what he did was, and this is the important part. On March 3rd, this story came out on March 3rd, and that's why I grabbed this one, because of everything he says and how he says it. The explosion took place on April 20th. This, to me, seems like he had a heads-up idea that this was going to happen, because this is what he says. He says he's been planning this training exercise to get civilians and retired police officers and law officers in training since the attacks of 9/11. He's been wanting to do this. He's been wanting to train people since the attacks of 9/11. Well, that was like 10 years ago, okay? So you mean to tell me that on March 3rd of 2010 was the only time he had available in the last 10 years to get this group trained? You mean to tell me after the Fort Hood incident, he couldn't get anything together? You mean to tell me after the underwear bomber in Detroit City, he couldn't get anything together? You mean to tell me after the plane crashed into the IRS building, that wasn't a warning to this guy that, hey, we need to get something together? I mean, I think the timing is impeccable. He waited until March 3rd of 2010 to start this training program of civilian and retired law enforcement people. Now, March 3rd, that was less than 30 days before, or actually right around 30 days from the explosion. So, you mean to tell me that with all this time he had and everything that was going on, he didn't have any time in that 10-year period except for now to train these people? I find it absolutely absurd. And if you can't see just what's going on here, if you can't figure out that this is all connected, the companies that created the explosion are cleaning up the oil, the sheriff is now involved, and everything else. Now, the story continues to say, and this part seems kind of strange, because there's two articles in there. It says gun rights extremists praise the operation. They praise Operation Exodus. Well, Operation Exodus is a government-controlled program. Okay, they're going to send you to the FEMA camp. All right, that's what they're going to do. They're going to send you to the FEMA camp. Now, another article I found in the firearms forums, they are saying that this program, this Operation Exodus, will save lives, and it's a great program. Why would anybody who is a gun activist think that going to a FEMA camp is a great idea? You know, people, I just don't understand. If you don't think that this is an inside job, if you don't think that this was created for government control, You really need to do your research. You need to wake up and understand what's going on here. You really need to pay attention, because all these facts and figures that the people who are out here working on these programs, working on this information, digging up the hard stuff, you guys need to pay attention to this, because this isn't fun and games anymore. This isn't just, how do you do and what's going on. People, pay attention. Your life is at risk. Your safety is at risk. Please pay attention. Please do your homework. And if you live in the South, you might want to consider getting out